Hey, hello everybody. Hopefully all this is... my delays are the way they should be and everything's working the way it should. Hopefully. I've been having so many issues with OBS lately. But yes! Monster Hunter Wilds beta. Also, ignore how the physics of the longsword keeps derping out. It just wants to do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a private lobby. I doubt anyone's going to want to play, but this will give people a way to do it without me just having random chat all the time. Yeah, we're mostly just gonna be vibing, because I've kind of done everything in this already, and I will address an elephant in the room right away that a lot of people... Apparently, I do still have more stuff to do. A lot of people are almost certainly going to be bringing up. Yes, the game does not look great at this exact moment. In this beta. It also doesn't run particularly great. May not be the most visible on YouTube, but if I pull up my my overlay here, I'm getting about 50 FPS right now. This is on medium settings. Based on running the benchmark a few times, my computer is fully able to handle... It basically handles this part of the game at about 90 to 100 FPS. There's a bit of grass just down there where it really doesn't like it, but that's grass for you.
Hunter, we've received a special assignment from the guild. We're to hunt Arkfeld, a monster of legend. Our knowledge of it is limited to only what we found in records. A quest is now available for this assignment.
Okay.
Speak with me. As they say, prepare.
So I can now fight that thing. I think I've actually fought it already, just not... But yeah, that grass down there really doesn't help performance. But even then, gonna be real, it's... like... Oh, hey, I think that's actually what I'm supposed to be going after. I've not nommed any food, but who needs to nom food? I am so bad with this thing. It is a laser gun! Okay. Still learning its motions. I do gotta say though, like, even though the performance is not great, it still feels fine. Like, I don't for a moment feel like this is even remotely, you know, low performance. I should do the thing that I imagine most people are doing. Ah! Get that going. Get them going again. Get them... I said get them going again. That was very rude. Now swap back. I need to get better about doing that. Especially where they've basically said that what they've done to nerf doing that is just the duration of the songs will last less time. So I'll have to get better at swapping back and forth, but that's really about it. Like, that hasn't actually nerfed it much of any. Some moving. Oops. Get that off. Just so I don't annoy people, I will actually ride the raptor. Okay. Hey, Bingus, you wanna get on that? Help me out here? Nah? Alright. I'm keeping to a long and storied tradition of my Palicos having dumb names. Ow. I just went to wire bug recovery. That's not a thing. For the longest time, I'd be using Dingus. Well, this time I figured I would go with Bingus. In hopes that Bingus will be smarter than Dingus ever was. That has yet to be the case, but... White, red, red. Rude. I was going to echo wave you. Actually, I think I already echo waved. Thanks, Bingus. I do quite enjoy the hunting horn. It's a fun weapon. Ow. Oh, I'm probably dead. Bingus! I blame you. Where am I?
More supplies have been added.
Oh man, supplies. I don't really care. Gonna be honest. Where am I compared to it? Should be over there somewhere. Raptor. I will say, anyone watching this is like, oh man, you must be... Nah, I'm not pro in any way. I am far from an expert at this game. Okay, it's way up there. That's pretty rude, not gonna lie. Being all the way up there. It's pretty far away. Okay. Doesn't look like that's where you'd climb, but that's where you climb, I guess. I've been roared. Ow. That was definitely a my B moment. I really miss the wire bug recovery, gonna be honest. I know there's so many people who are like, oh, but Rise's combat is so fast-paced because of the wire bug and stuff. It's like, yeah, it is. It lets you get back into fighting instead of watching your character lay on the ground for, 5 seconds. Ow. Animations. Okay. It's literally why I'm not using the Switch Axe. As much as, like, that's usually my go-to weapon. I got way too used to having all the wire bug stuff. I think I just give up on this quest. I am not equipped well enough for this. Where is Lady? Lady, please, you're in the wall. Yeah. Let's just cancel it. I'm not too big to admit I probably can't do that. Not without a lot more practice. So let's just vibe and explore. I should probably also eat a meal. Which I don't like how that's done in the tent. Let's see. Veggies. Shrimp. Yeah, that's probably the way to go for hunting it. I will say, though, food does look nice, but... I almost feel like I should go through my options just for anybody who might be, like, wondering what settings I have. Though it's not going to matter for this. Like, if you're... It's basically a case of, if you're going to play the beta, they might help. But, in general, the main thing that I've noticed as difference between, for the optimization of this compared to the benchmark, you can turn off ray tracing in the benchmark. You can't turn off ray tracing here. Can you imagine what's probably causing the performance issues? And this is why ray tracing is not a good thing. But I will crouch down in this bush. For anyone who might be curious, I do have quality upscaling on. I can play without it. This just basically keeps me from dipping below 30 in the 99%, which, might be felt. And then otherwise, I basically just have the medium preset with a few extra changes. Oh no, I haven't actually made those changes. So this is just the medium preset, but like motion blur off. Volumetric fog to low. I think that might just be part of the preset. I could realistically just throw up the benchmark as well, just to show, like, it does work remarkably well. I am very curious to see more of how this game is going to evolve in way of, like, the various skills. Given they have talked about how they want to, they want to put a lot of skills onto weapons. If they're like an offensive skill, it'll be on a weapon instead of armor or stuff along those lines. And it's like, I don't know how well that's going to work out, is my main concern. Because the argument they're using is that it will get people wearing and using different equipment than they normally would, and it'll make it harder for there to be a best, except I don't think it's going to. I think it's just going to make the best even more obvious. Like, imagine for a moment we have two longswords. This one and another one. We don't have, and this one I don't think has any skills on it, but let's imagine for a moment that this one had like attack up. That's all it had. Just some attack up. Then you get, say, another longsword that has affinity up. Just 1 point of each. Anyone who's played Monster Hunter before can immediately tell you which of those two longswords would be better. And it's quite simply the one with affinity up is better. Because affinity is always better than just attack up, especially a single point. It's basically a case of anyone who's played games before could tell you that one. 5% critical is better than, like, 3 damage. You know? Oh, hey, this place. I ended up finding this place rather easily. I think it's because I just kind of wander around. I will say, and it'll probably annoy people, I very much, like, I much prefer to walk than ride. Just because, like, one, you see more things, and two, it's not like you're in a big hurry, you know. And I'm definitely going to be, throughout this stream, probably talking about a few things that do really kind of annoy me so far with this. And it's nothing really, like, against the game. It's more just, you know, the character having a voice. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. I'm in the hate it camp. For the primary reason of, there has been nothing dialogue-wise that I've even seen that would indicate the player needs to be the one saying these things. Like, even like the opening cutscene of the beta here, where you're like, basically your character's like, oh man, there's our ride. And then, you know, the handler's like, well, can you make it? And it's like, well, I have to try. It's like, you don't, literally, your handler could just say all of that stuff. There's no need for you to be the one saying it. That's the point of the handler, to make those decisions. The hunter is here to hunt things, not think, make decisions. Come on now, you're a hunter. That is quite interesting architecture. That's not just a rock. I was kind of hoping to get close enough to actually see it. That's some ruins going on right there. But, like, that's my biggest issue. It's especially just a case of, it more or less just hammers home that my hunter here is not actually my character. It's the character the game wants me to be. Which is kind of lame. I don't like that. It's why I've kind of never been a fan of forced voice acting in games, like when it comes to your player character. So I I love this camp. Literally, camp location in the middle of nowhere. Safety level. Insecure. Nah, you think? But, like... And again, I know there's going to be some people who are like, oh, but I'm fine with it. And it's like, that's great. I love that for you. That's why we really should have had a system like Rise had, where you could opt into it. Or more opt out of it. Where, you know, your hunter starts by talking and you can just turn it off. It's down here. I don't think I've ever been down here. I would like to just jump off. Thanks. Whoop. No, I was gonna try and pick up those nitro shrooms, and didn't realize you picked them up. Wait, I should just hold on. Oh, it's another way into this area. Neat. Points.
Time for a quick break.
There's this camp. Which this is a camp location. You can tell by the way I actually set up a camp here. I do really like how this game looks. Even with knowing this is, you know, less than ideal visuals. Like, I'm gonna be real. This does... At medium settings, this looks worse than World at max settings. And World at max settings is easier to run. But that's because this has ray tracing forced on. Thankfully, as I've already made mention of, they let you turn that off in the benchmarks. So they're probably letting you turn it off in the main game. Which means performance for everybody is going up just from that alone. And it defaults to off. It's great. At least it did for me. And, like, they have actually given you a thing where you get to opt into it. Like, you can choose whether palicos speak in meows or words. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like water.
Hard at work? I'm happy to help anytime. Hard at work? Understood.
Alma, please. Could you come back this way so I can do the thing I don't want to do? Because you're kind of in the way. Oh, I don't like this. I'm glad I don't have to control it, but I do not like this. It's pretty, but I don't like this. Oh, this is a big nope. I need to. Oh, this is a big nope. I don't do water. I say being one of the people that'd be like, yeah, underwater combat should come back, because I think it'd be kind of cool. But also, I know that that would mean gameplay I would really struggle with. I don't do underwater. Oh, hey, fishing. Do I have a fishing rod? I have a capture net. I do have a fishing rod. Fishing. Hey. You want... You want some tasty... I don't know what those buttons are. Oh no. Want some tasty lore? Yeah, the key to fishing might be patience, but like... You know what I think the key to fishing is? Capture net. Whoops. I can't really see the controls because of... There we go. See? Capture net is the key to fishing. Ugh, I am not about that. Fish ran away. Whoops. Right, it's that button. Still got it, though. I mean, net fishing is just the way to go. I mean... Oh, I am like... I have to dive again to get out of here, don't I? Oh, I don't wanna. Is there any other way out? I don't think there is. I think this is just my life now. Just my life now. That's the way I came up. Well, let's deal with more of this. That seems interactable. Yeah, that's labeled Beautiful Aquatica. Or Aquatica. It is very pretty in here, though. Thunderbug. Thunderbug. I love how they're like, nah, you're not literally shoving bugs in your pocket. You're taking the bug and squeezing it into a jar and then releasing the bug after. It's like, what? Why can't I just be shoving the bug in my pocket? What's so wrong with that? Well, what are these New World hunters who have against the old ways? Like, they can't throw to save their lives. Like, these New World hunters are pretty hopeless. And I know there is no point to gathering stuff. I just like gathering stuff. You can't stop me. Oh, this area. I don't need it, but I'll drink the bug. Like, I do have to say, and I've already said it a few times, but like, there's things I definitely miss about Rise, playing this beta. Chief among them is probably the wirebug skills. Like, they've kind of, in a way, ruined the switch axe for me, because I'm so used to having them now that I really can't play it without them. Because they solved a lot of the biggest problems with the switch axe. Like, you're heavily immobile. So you carry the switch axe move to let you move and attack at the same time.
Places like these always make me feel small.
Like, your file being charged is something you kind of always need. So, you know, you run the skill that lets you charge your file. Also, I've witnessed this bit of land vanish. Beautiful. There's definitely a lot of issues with the beta, but from what we've seen, they have been fixed. So, that is nice to know. But I do have a lot of other weapons I've used, and I've been using the longsword a fair bit lately. I have not really played Monster Hunter much in recent months, so I am quite rusty. Which is also, well, I say recent months, about a month it's been since I last played. Which is also why I definitely probably can't take on the big beastie. I do like this area. This is really pretty. Something big and fancy lives there. Oh, there's a side path. I just noticed on the map. Where does this go? Let's get some more. That is not an efficient way to crawl. I'm not a fan of these being the only mining outcrops. I kind of hope that that's just a this area thing. Because, like, they have used this style of mining outcrop before. I remember it most from 3. But, like, these ones are some of the hardest to see. So... Ooh, a lot of mining outcrops. That's what's up here. Okay, duly noted for the full release. This is where you come to get ore. Jesus Christ. Lots of ore. Again, I know gathering this stuff is pointless. I just like to gather things. Ugh. I actually wonder how long it takes for things to respawn. Could you just, like, sit up here and wait? Also, I do wish... I do miss Rise's freedom of motion, like, movement. You would just wirebug over this and be back down. Like... You'd be, like, way over here. Whoops. This is a quite big map. Like, it doesn't look that big, but it's quite big. Like, just looking at the map, it doesn't look big, but, like, walking around it, you can tell it's big. You know, probably wasn't the best idea for you to just sit there. Yeah, I later this month cannot come fast enough. I literally already have this game pre-ordered. And I can already hear people being like, you're part of the problem with these unoptimized games. It's like, yeah, except they have optimized it. There's a benchmarking tool, run it. And don't think your hardware from like a decade ago is still top of the line. It's not. Like, if this game was actually unoptimized and unplayable, I wouldn't have pre-ordered it. Admittedly, I did pre-order it before the benchmarking tool came out. Can I? Oh, you can put a camp over here. Okay. Neat. Can't help but feel this would not be a great spot for a camp. Let's see. How bad of a spot would this be? Yeah, no. I mean, this would be, well, I would say this would be a pretty good fast travel spot, but there's the camp that's just already there of this one. I should try using the bow gun. Because I do know that controls do tend to differ between Blades and Blade Master and Gunner, so it would probably be a good idea to try to learn some of the Gunner controls. Because I do like myself a heavy bow gun. Yeah, why would you set up a camp there when there's that camp right there? It doesn't make any sense. Unless that one's not there in the main game. In which case it would then make sense. So, lightning rod. I'm kind of surprised one of those storms hasn't come by yet. I do quite like this oasis. It's another case of, I don't know why you would set your camp up here. There's caves literally right there that you could set it up in that would be much safer. Give me fish. I missed the fish. Give me fish. This is how you fish. Fish. God, it's so nice to get more than a single sushi fish scale. If you've not played the older games, or if you have and just have not used sushi fish scales, sushi fish scales are some of the most effective healing items. Because they heal at about the rate of a standard potion. But they're near instant. Instead of taking time. And they also boost your natural healing. They're just kind of better than a potion. Could do some barbecue grilling, but they made this so tasty, very difficult to get, and that has made me very disappointed. Hey, I'm attached to you now. Or not. I have screamer pods. I thought you'd attach to it. Wing drake hide.
The weather is getting increasingly worse.
Ooh.
Caution.
Here it comes. I want to get my capture net back on. I also want to go this way. I'm also going to be real, I can't really tell the difference between like a low quality skybox and a high quality one. I don't think there is a difference. Here comes the storm. Really, Bingus? I can see just fine. Stop being dramatic. Oh, I can't. My inventory's full. Okay, using the capture net with this storm going on is definitely... Okay, no, it was just being very awkward. Okay. These storms, the way to get good performance in this area. Namely because the grass is basically gone. Screw these monsters in general, I guess. Bingus is on fire. This is very pretty. Especially like that. Like that just looks nice. My game just crashed. I can still hear the game. I blame Bingus. Just wait for it to create its crash report. This will take a hot minute. this is what happens when crashes happen. So you guys are about to see no signal. Because I didn't bother hiding the Elgato. So it's just behind everything. It's just how I've been doing it. Rather than turning the Elgato off and on. I just put it behind everything else. Thank you for following, Henry Munst. Yeah, I don't really add people on Discord. Sorry to say. Game crash. Yeah, let's actually, just so you guys can see I'm not kind of talking with my arse. Wait for the game to fully close, and I'm going to pop up the benchmarking tool. It is not still running, computer. What are you on about? What are you on about, computer? That's running, apparently. That shouldn't be running. Okay, there it goes. So yeah, let's get the benchmark up here. Because I'm pretty sure I already have it set up. So it should, yep. I will probably have to tune the settings again, but... Well, I say that. There's only a few things I even really changed. Oh yeah, it defaulted back to this. Ultra. Leave that on. I actually prefer this at quality. Then this to this. Like, even just doing that, literally making it harder on the game. I can almost guarantee you this is going to pull out at least around 60 FPS. And keep in mind, I'm bottlenecked by my graphics card. Like, I could be getting much higher. Right, I forgot the audio for this one's a lot quieter. Hold on, I will fix that. And this is also while,
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then
this is also while streaming it.
This is gonna be
Like, I hate the Palico voices.
I hope we find them soon.
And the first initial runs of the benchmark are always a bit stuttery because it's loading the models for the first time. For whatever reason, it doesn't just preload the models. It preloads the shaders, but it doesn't preload the models.
There's so many.
A lot of games do that, though. It's weird. But keep in mind, I'm basically running this game at, you know, what should technically require a higher spec than what I've got. Hey, this will let me point out the thing I don't like.
Hold on. What's that?
That's all right.
Like, your character does not need to say, "That's our ride," and then I have to try. You know, literally your handler could have said, "Well, that'll be your ride," and then question, "Wait, can you make it?" And then go, "Well, it doesn't matter, you have to try." And then you do it. Like, I feel like that works just as well, if not better, and lets you actually, you know, have your own character. And yeah, this is definitely, like... I do wish they ordered this benchmark a little differently, because it's about to get to the most intensive part of the benchmark. So the results you see at the end aren't exactly the performance to expect, but this, so far at least, is the most graphically intensive part of the game. Or at least, you know, performance intensive part of the game is this little field of grass. Of all things. Like, frame rate dies the moment the grass is there. which is where, like, one of the easiest ways to increase performance, as a chicken, is just simply to turn down the grass quality. It's a desert. It makes sense the grass isn't gonna be completely bountiful everywhere, you know. And it still looks fine. I have noticed through repeated runs, this benchmark is not always the same. So for anyone who's thinking of doing like a benchmark video of like, here's how to fine-tune settings, always run through your setting changes multiple times. Make sure that it's not just the benchmark wasn't just different that time. Because like, there is definitely instances where the benchmark is not the same every time. So, you know, this is definitely something to keep in mind. Like, I think that's the first time I've seen that person right there. I know I've watched the character walk into somebody in this segment. So I love those little chicken things. Yeah, the person I... Oh, no, there they are. Almost walked into them. So let's say the person that I usually walk into isn't even here. But. And as always with Monster Hunter, the food just looks good.
Go ahead, help yourselves.
But like, that's my performance now with my 6700 XT definitely bottlenecking me. Now, for the things I would honestly do. Because I may as well add this stuff in here as well. And this is through almost a couple hours of messing around with the various settings. First things first. This. I honestly don't see the difference. So, just lowest. This. Low. Personally, I honestly feel this looks better for the setting. Maybe in different areas of the game, I will change my tune on that. But for the desert specifically, that's just better. Distant shadow quality to low. With the shadow distance being far, you actually barely notice this, but you will notice the quality change. Motion blur off, obviously. Volumetric fog. Even in here, you can barely tell the difference, and I honestly feel like low just looks better. Now, was that everything I did? I'm pretty sure that is, but I literally made a list of everything I did, so I can... I can basically just double check my list. Right. This one. It's not a huge difference between high and medium. And now let's run that again. Keeping in mind I just had a rough average of 60. Again, while streaming this. Like, keep in mind, I'm also monitoring the FPS via AMD's built-in thing as well.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great!
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
Look!
And like, I don't know if this is just me. It could just be me because I'm looking at this through a 1080p monitor. It's a pretty good 1080p monitor though. But I can't see any visual differences with what I'm doing now compared to just running the Ultra preset. But I can see the higher performance.
It's a person!
The one thing I do wish this benchmark did was show you the 1%. For reference, right now my 1% are around 48 to 50. So,
Hold on. What's that?
and I will get the game proper back up here in a minute.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I'm coming too!
Like, even with these settings, I'm gonna say now, this upcoming segment with the grass, still gonna dip below 60. Honestly, if I wanted to not dip below 60, all I'd have to do is just turn the preset basically down to high or medium, and it doesn't go below 60. I'm okay with this level of performance. Especially where, again, like, maybe it's just I'm not looking at this game as if I'm looking around at scenery. I more care about what I can see and what I'm interacting with. But, like, I don't see any distinct changes, you know. Even the amount of grass is still basically the same. The trees still look just fine. The grass looks basically the same as it did before. You know, the skybox still looks basically the same. But yeah, it's still well above 30, which, not ideal. I wish it ran better, but to be fair, that is just my graphics card. It's soon to be 2 generations old, and I'm running at fundamentally max settings. A few that don't matter have been turned down, but fundamentally this is max settings. And yeah, like this closest of these, I can't think of their name. They're new, I actually don't know their name yet. Like I don't know it off by heart. If I saw their name, I'd be like, oh yeah, those things. But yeah. Like this run, that one was like right there. So like it's not always the same. That'll add some level of variance to the performance, but in general it'll still be fine as a test. But just be aware that like if you're trying to do a more like academic testing of things, then the benchmark does change ever so slightly every run. So I'd say just do like a sampling of like 3 and then average them. Unless the results end up being the exact same every time, in which case you're good. But I'd still do that sampling just in case. Okay, the person was there twice. I could have just not noticed them before. Too busy looking at everything else to, you know, be like, hey, is everything looking good? And the answer is yes. Like, to me, visually, this looks the same as before I tweaked the settings, only it's running better. Those are the settings I would probably change, almost regardless of what setup you've got. Unless you've got a setup that you can stay comfortably above 60 without it. Which, undoubtedly, there are cards that can do it. Oh, yeah. Walked into the person. Just kick them out of the way. But, like, I'm basically right here already the score I ended the last one with. You know.
Go ahead. Help yourselves.
You know, that gets you a few thousand extra points. Just to mess with those settings, and, well, performance is higher now. You can also, I believe, again, I know I said I'd get back to the game proper. I like running benchmarks. I can't help it. I like doing this thing. I like messing with stuff, optimizing things. I'm an EVE Online player. A former EVE Online player. It's what I used to do all the time. FSR, like that, quality. I believe this will get higher performance. But it's also gonna end up looking worse.
As soon as we find a good spot, we
Like
can get
the,
things set up and ready to go.
And then we
The
can
hair
decide.
is, like, very artifacty
This is gonna be great.
with FSR.
Yeah.
Which is why I prefer
Soon.
Zess. As much as I'm not a fan of Intel, they made a decent upscaler. Which, honestly, like, this is a game that is a perfect example of what I've talked about many times before of what I would like to see upscaling used for. I could run this game without the upscaler. I can do it. I know I can do it. I have to tweak the settings, but this lets me play at maximum settings
They're exceptionally agitated.
on an older card. That's what upscaling should be used for.
It's a person.
Sadly, it seems to have become the default of bad game developers not wanting to optimize their game.
Hold on.
So, you know. And I honestly don't know which of these I'll go with, because
Can you reach it?
part of me does want to, part of me does want the higher performance of FSR. Namely because I couldn't really care about the visuals. Like, I would much rather have better performance to better visuals. Just about any day. And yeah, once again, this is going to be a pain point. This area is always going to be a pain point. And once again, it'll be once that grass is loaded. I really wish there was an option to reduce the grass density of grass that doesn't matter. Like, if you could turn off this grass that just doesn't matter, it doesn't do anything, you can't hide in it, it just exists to obscure your view of really tiny things, like, the game would probably run so much better. And you probably wouldn't miss it. At least I wouldn't. But I mean, like, we have as a perfect example of the moment you're away from the grass, the frame rate goes up to like 60. The grass is the problem. That grass is ass. And, you know, I'm actually not noticing as much artifacting this time. Maybe it's just because I'd run the benchmarks so many times. Again, though, like, I'm not noticing the distant shadows thing because it very much seems like distant shadows is impacted by your render distance. Either that or the shadows in the distance are just so far away they're unnoticeable, being at a lower setting. But, like, I would honestly have preferred them just stick with the visuals of Monster Hunter World. Or Rise. Rise looked pretty good, too. Rise looked good and was high performance. Because it had a style to it. It wasn't trying to be super realistic looking. I really wish games would get out of this wanting to be super realistic looking. And just go back to having a style again. Like, you don't need to look hyper realistic. Even Call of Duty doesn't need to do it, but they like trying to do it for some reason.
Welcome.
But, like,
Go ahead, help yourselves.
it's just a reality of games that I really wish wasn't. I'm actually curious as a, more or less a for fun extra benchmark. I'm tempted just to see what the highest frame rate I can get. No, I need to know. What is the highest frame rate I can possibly get? And this is going to be with cheating the frames. I'm going to have frame gen turned on. I want to see the absolute cheatiest of cheat going on here. So let's lowest. Alter performance. Enable frame gen. I want the cheatiest of cheat. Banned. That's going to be happening a lot. Man, am I glad that I can easily... Thought I had links turned off, though. Oh, well. Okay, this is going to be the cheatiest of cheaty runs. Render distance, low. Nah, this is supposed to be lowest, guys. Come on. We got... I want absolutely... Okay, mesh qualities can't go lower than that. Okay. I don't know why I didn't test this before, but I'm testing this now just to see. This is gonna be so cheaty. Oh, Jesus.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then we can
It looks so bad.
This is gonna be great.
You bet.
But, like, that performance, though. This is why I don't like frame gen. Because, like, I'm sure I'm still getting probably around 100 FPS. But, like, every frame, there's probably a fake frame to go with it. So while it might, you know, look smooth, it's really not.
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It is fully utilizing my CPU now, though.
It's a person.
So now both my CPU and GPU are 100% utilized.
Bring us closer.
And crash right into them!
We're still too far away.
What do we do?
Hold on. What's that?
That's all right.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I'm coming too.
Thing is, I could imagine there being some people playing the game like this thinking they're actually getting, like, the high frame rate experience. Which is the thing I hate the most about frame gen. Like, can you imagine... Voice crack. Can you imagine any other medium accepting this? Like... Imagine if in movies, every other frame of the movie was AI generated, basically. People would riot. Because, like, oh man, it'd be like high frame rate movies, except it really wouldn't be. It would still be like the 29 point whatever frame rate movies are. Even this is still dipped. I want to run this setting again without frame gen after this is done, just to see what the actual frame rate is. Keep in mind, this is for fun sillies. It looks so bad. I can count the pixels because it's like, I think at this setting it's like 240 or 480p. That it's rendering at and then upscaling it. Oh man, 100 FPS. This is also why if I ever see a benchmark that's like, here's a performance with frame gen, I'm like, okay, that's BS then. Because, like, that ain't gonna be 100 with frame gen turned off. And that's what it's gonna feel like. Because that's how frame gen works, you know. It's not like you're actually getting a high frame rate experience. I love how this has just turned into me benchmarking, but that's just... I'm just vibing. I'm doing what the title says. This is the kind of crap I just do on my own time. Like, when I built my computer, I spent, like, the first couple days just running benchmarks because I love doing this kind of thing. I especially love trying to find optimizations. Like, I think I will do, like, I'm definitely gonna do another pass of this with frame gen turned off, just to see what the difference is between, like, my tuned max settings to, like, just going with lower settings. Lower settings, more upscaling. I can still count the pixels. I'm calling it now. I'm gonna see like 250 to 300 FPS during the cooking. punt the person out of my way again.
Welcome.
Okay, almost 250. Oh, that was all. I saw 247. I'm gonna count that as 250. Even at these low settings. Oh, yeah, there's 260. Okay, so yeah, it broke 250. Even at the low settings, the food still looks good. Monster Hunter food just always looks good, though. Average 172 frame generation. I do love how they're adding that. So people can't, like, try to cheese it and be like, look at my performance. Okay, let's turn frame gen off and then run that again. I do kind of want to put this to just 50. But you know what? Let's put this to 1.0. It's just low settings. This will still be ultra performance in here. Let's see how this goes. I'm gonna actually go grab coffee while this one's running, because I can. I think I will just mute myself so you guys can still see the pretty pictures up large, and then you'll see when I get back. It's still actually pretty high performance, though I can still count the pixels,
And then we can get started.
because it's still
This is gonna be great.
upscaling, so by a quite considerable amount. I want to see. I need to see the raw performance of that one segment. Yeah, you can still count pixels. But if you remember, from the frame gen run, this was around 200. So it was just doubling the frame rate by inserting an extra frame every frame, basically, and, you know.
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It's a person.
I do imagine that, you know, playing at this kind of,
We're still too far
performance would probably feel pretty nice, but visually, this is definitely pushing it a little too far.
Can you reach it?
Have to try.
Like, I know I said just a little bit ago that I don't really care about visuals, but there is a point where I do kind of care about visuals. And this is kind of that point where, like, this just looks bad, but it's because of the settings more than anything. If this had been, you know, if they had made intentional visuals for low quality that were, like, cell shaded and, like, not intensive in the slightest, then, you know, it would definitely be a whole lot better. Because, well, it's just how it kind of works. And again, all of this while streaming it. So the performance would actually be higher if I wasn't streaming it. I wonder how much of a difference being on ultra performance to quality upscaling. Like, I wonder what difference that's making. Because, like, I want to say the low settings aren't the worst when they're not pixels. My eye is itchy. Yeah, it's still 60 here. Yeah, that's definitely fine. And again, looking away from the grass and water, it goes right up. I would definitely not play the game like this, but it is nice to know that for those who might need it, this, like, admittedly, the fact that I'm able to get an average of 100 FPS on the specs I've got, well, that doesn't say a huge amount for, like, you know, random person running, I don't know, a 10400F and a GTX 1080. Like, you probably can't run the game this well at low, but you could probably run it at about 30 FPS at least. In, like, that really demanding segment, running at this kind of settings. I do kind of wonder how Zest would run this. Spin. My encoding is overloaded. The stream may not be running particularly great, but that's just kind of what happens when you're doing this kind of thing. Everything seems fine, though.
Welcome. Please
Go ahead. Help yourselves.
Yeah, that was about what I was expecting. There's more things I want to test. Do you want this? This is just a benchmarking stream now. Let's turn the upscaling off. Or as off as it can go. Actually, I can just do that. That turns it completely off. Which does now set us to custom, but as a reminder, this is on lowest. Before I hit to benchmark it again, I need coffee. So I will be back in a moment or two. Forget that I didn't set the benchmark up on anything else, so I guess I'll just be leaving it like this. So, be back in a minute. Alrighty. As a reminder, this is lowest possible settings with just no upscaling whatsoever. So this is just complete rasterized.
Okay.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then we can get started.
I might tune up from here.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
Because, like, the shadows definitely need to be increased. Draw distance should probably go up as well.
Aye.
There's so many.
So pixely. That, I believe, is from the shadows.
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It's a person! Bring us closer!
And crash right into them!
We're still too far away.
What do we do?
Hold on. What's that?
That's all right.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I'm coming too.
Gotta say though, pure rasterized low settings is doing well. It's not that much lower than the upscaling being there. And possibly having like FSR there as some anti-aliasing would fix a lot of the issues too. So I think I'll try that after this. Because that could also be what's going on, is the anti-aliasing's just not good. Because they just expected you to have the anti-aliasing running. Because a lot of this is aliasing issues, so... So I'll just do FSR's anti-aliasing after this run. Again, I know I was just kind of vibing actually playing the beta, but... We're now benchmarking. This is a benchmarking stream now. Because the performance here is about what I was expecting. It is a tad higher than what I was seeing before. For this being pure rasterization, it's definitely not bad. That view distance, though, or draw distance, that would be a... yeah. That would be very deal breakery. So that would need to be, that needs to be turned up. I'm gonna tune settings up from the lowest just to see. Because, like, this is how you find the settings that you're actually fine with. Like, you turn it all the way down. See how that performs. Then you start turning off the extra gubbins you don't like upscaling. I'm not a fan of it. I can get by on quality, but it's still rough compared to just pure raster. It probably wouldn't be so bad if I had like a 2K monitor, but I don't. I have a 1080p monitor. because this one was like $100 and it's 165 hertz. It's pretty nice, good visuals. Does a nice adaptive sync to it, so it's hard to notice when the frame rate dips, but playing the game, I can definitely feel it. Like, I can feel that it's below, 100 or so FPS.
Welcome.
But yeah, this is definitely not bad for pure rasterized. I mean,
Help yourselves.
I say that knowing full well that saying that sounds stupid given how this game looks, but given how it performs otherwise, this isn't bad for pure rasterized. If you ignore the fact that there's older games that run better, but that's just the problem of running on DirectX 12. DirectX 12 sucks. DirectX 11 can pull off basically all of the same crap 12 can, except ray tracing. Games run on DirectX 12 now because of ray tracing. You know, that thing that the majority of people don't even use. Okay, let's get FSR going for just the anti-aliasing. Then let's put the render distance all the way up, because let's be honest, my computer can handle it. Let's re-enable the sway on the grass. Let's put the wind simulation up, surface quality up. We're going to put this all the way to highest. Yeah, we'll put water effects on. We'll put the shadow quality to... We don't want to go too far. We'll go to medium. Distant shadows can stay there. Shadow distance. Let's put it to far. See, this is what I mean by, like, it seems tied to render distance. If this is set to far, this seems to only affect the shadows that are outside of this. Yet you'll still get better performance for this being at low, if you're GPU bound like I am. That can stay at low. We'll turn this up. I'll put ambient inclusion to medium. Leave that at low. I'll leave that on. Turn that on. Well, no, we'll leave screen space reflections off. We'll turn that off. Now let's put the texture quality to medium. And then we'll throw that up to highest. And that to high. Let's see how this goes. Does this solve the issues that I was seeing? The performance isn't going to be as good. We're upping settings. But does this also solve the issues? Hair looks better.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then we can get started.
Yeah, hair looks fine now.
Gonna be great.
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
Look!
Oh yeah, the anti-aliasing was what was missing. I mean, it could be a lot of the other things I improved as well, but...
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It's a person! Bring us closer!
And crash right into them!
We're still too far away.
What do we do?
Hold on.
And this is a case of, keep in mind, this is rasterized performance. Like,
That's alright.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
if I were to turn on quality upscaling, I imagine this would go even better. Which, again, it would impact the visuals. In my opinion, not enough to matter, but... it is still there, and it's still a bit rough to need it. Like... But about 2100, well, 21,000 was where my tuned highest settings put me, so... I want to see how this goes, especially this segment. Like, I can tell the models aren't quite as high quality. That's fine. Like, the meshes aren't as high quality, but again, that's fine. Okay, 1% are staying above 30. I'm gonna give this another go after this with quality upscaling. Again, this has just turned into a benchmark stream. Can't help it, I love doing this kind of thing. Seems like gameplay average is about 60, so... that is definitely fine by me. And this is, again, pure rasterized, so... Still a little bit of pixelization on the water, but that's fine. I do really wish that this was the beta itself. But I also understand why it isn't, because Capcom built this demo like game companies used to build demos. It's its own build of the game. No spin that time. I think this is actually going to end with lower than my tuned highest settings. But my tuned highest also had quality upscaling, so...
Go ahead, help yourselves.
Yeah, it's about on par, I suppose, is where it'll end. Just about. A little lower, but... Okay. Now. Quality. Let's run that again. Benchmarks, benchmarks, benchmarks. Why do I enjoy running benchmarks? Well, I know why. It's because I like fine-tuning things. I like doing everything I can to make things run as well as I can.
Ready to go.
And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great.
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
I still think the handler from World is probably my favorite handler, but almost close.
Aye.
There's so many.
Which I still, all these years later, I still don't understand why people didn't like the handler in World.
Could they be chasing something?
It's a person.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me why people didn't like her. It's like, oh, well, she talks to you. It's like, and it's what a handler should do.
That's all right.
She's not a quest maiden. She's a handler.
I'm coming too.
Oh, but she goes into the field with you. It's yeah, that's what a handler should do. She's not a quest maiden. She's a handler. And if we're gonna go quest maidens, then Hinoa and Minoto have to always take the lead there. But they're quest maidens. They're not handlers. Ooh, liking the look of this already. Because I can more than deal with these visuals. It's still gonna drop to about 40. I'm calling it now. It's still gonna drop to probably around 40. Though maybe not. Nah, it'll probably still drop to 40. The 1% are what I'm kind of looking at, which is something you guys can't see. Oh no, it's staying around 50. And the 1% are like right there. Like 48, 50. Anytime it drops into the 40s, the 1%'s drop too, but... So it is 40, 50. Well, that's about 10%. Not 10%. 10 FPS jump, roughly. I think I found the settings I'm going to go with. Because I can live with this. If I had a better graphics card, I wouldn't even have to settle here. I could just simply push higher, but... Yeah, it's been a couple years since I got the 6700 XT. It's also soon to be 2 generations old, so... It makes sense that it would be showing its age. But the fact the game is still perfectly playable is really just a testament to how good the 6700 XT is. Granted, this is a very CPU-intensive game, but, like, it's the graphics card currently bottlenecking me. Like, the 6700 XT is currently capped off. Utilization, 100%. My CPU, it's around, like, 60-70%. So, like, there's plenty of headroom left on the CPU. It's the graphics card that's bottlenecking me. What other settings could I turn up, I wonder? Without seeing a major drop. Because it does feel like there was like one setting probably that was just causing a major issue. And I don't know what one it was.
Welcome! Please
Go
eat.
ahead. Help yourselves.
Hmm. Yeah, I am quite content with this. What setting could have been causing that, though? Let's turn this up to high. There's not a huge difference there. Put the mesh quality to high. The fact that in theory right now you could be running this on a like 4 GB VRAM card is really nice to see. Okay, without changing too many settings, those will be what I'll change.
Okay.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go.
And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great.
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
Look!
Gonna be real, I can't visually see much of a difference, if any.
Aye!
I'm not really seeing a performance change either, so...
They're exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It's a person!
I do kind of miss the days of, like, pre-rendered cutscenes. I say kind of, because, like, playing an older game that had pre-renders, like, on PC, when, like, you can play the game at a higher frame rate than the pre-rendered cutscene is, it's really obvious. Which is why they've kind of changed to this, you know, active rendering cutscenes, where you're rendering the cutscene as it goes. But, like... Okay, this is looking about the same as before, but... Okay, I can see the texture changes now, and the mesh changes. Okay, it's dipping below 60 a little bit here. Which it wasn't doing before. But again, this isn't always the same, so really I should be doing like 3 runs of each, but... Doubt you guys are really all that interested in even watching what I'm doing now. So, you know... Okay, this is definitely a bit lower now. Still perfectly playable, though. But this is closer to the performance I was getting before, and it does look worse. Performance in the cutscene was higher, though. It's weird how the performance outside of that grassy area is higher, but in the grassy area it's still like about what it was with my settings before. But like it is considerably higher out here. That grass, man. That grass. It does not look greener. It would be really nice if there was some way I could shunt some of the responsibility for this onto my integrated graphics as well. I imagine that would also boost performance. The first company to figure out a way of doing that is going to absolutely dominate the CPU space. And with AMD's insistence on putting an integrated graphics chip in just about everything, you would think they would be working on that, and they might be. Because, like, my 9800's built-in, you know, integrated graphics are doing literally nothing right now. They're just kind of sitting there idle.
Welcome.
Go ahead. Help yourselves.
That food still looks good. I gotta stop running this benchmark. This scene is making me hungry. But yeah, overall, I think that was more than good. So yeah, let's get the actual game back up now. Man, February 28th cannot come fast enough. It's like 20 days away. It's so close, yet so far. It's like 19 more days of Animal Crossing. Because I've already recorded the 9th. So... I record a day ahead of time. I do also have some minor complaints about the character creator. And that is that you have no control really over your body proportions past like how muscular you are. I'm not a fan of that. I wish you had a little more control over other features of your body as well. But I do kind of understand where they're coming from on that one, because I imagine making an armor model that looks good on the bodies that they've made is relatively easy compared to, you know, what they did. So do I... Oh yeah, I have nothing I'd gathered. Because the game crashed, it didn't save. Either that or it just automatically put everything away. Boulder. Wrong button. Okay, that's another way of quickly swapping the weapons.
I'll put the materials I gathered in your item box.
How do I shoot the thing again? Ah. Man, torch pods are pretty effective. But yeah, like... I cannot wait for this game to fully release. It is going to be so much fun. Which, you know, this has been going for about 2 hours. I know most of this was just benchmarking. 90% of the stream was. Do I want to do anything else, or do I want to just end things off? I might just end things off. This is just kind of a chill, vibey stream. I could hunt something, though. Maybe then, like, nearby. Oops. I mean, there is this guy. Strength 4. This one... That was strength 2. Half an hour left on it. Wow, there's only those 2 things here? That one's about to leave. Oh, right, I'm underground. How do I... There's so many things. There we go. Just trying to figure out how to get out of here. So there's just too much stuff. Wait, why can I not eat the sushi fish scale? Oh, I'm full health apparently. Doesn't look like I'm full health, but that's fine. Yeah, let's ride. Oh, it's literally right here. Boing. I missed! I have barely fought this thing, so I have no idea exactly what I'm doing, but... I really wish it would stop auto-locking on. I do not like that. I missed. I don't like that much either. Stop auto-locking. Don't want that. Nobody wants to auto-lock on. And if you say you do, you're lying to yourself. Ow. I just went to wire bug recovery again. Stop making farting noises at me, good sir. I do not like that very much. Ow. Thanks, Bingus. Ow. I keep going to wire bug recovery. So I could be crazy, but this longsword feels shorter. It might honestly just be shorter. It looks shorter. That's for sure. Oh hey, a Gyparos has appeared. Just loves making those farting noises at me. It's very farty, boy. Just kind of hoping to jump there. But that didn't happen. Very good at this. I do appreciate how the whetstone now sharpens in stages instead of all or nothing, because that was always frustrating. When, like, you'd be sharpening your weapon, and then just, like, the game's just like, nah. Nah, mate, you didn't actually sharpen. Missed that time. Wow, that just kind of wasted that final stage of... Okay. Noted. Also, I know we just had Khezu in a game, but I do kind of hope Khezu comes back in this one. And then gets to properly be Khezu. Because, like... there's still some music in Rise that Khezu can't turn off. And that's just a crime. I do like this final stage of Longsword. Feels nice. Ow. That doesn't feel nice. Come on, Bingus. You got me. Thanks, man. You always got me, Bingus. I will probably change this Palico before. Running away, are ya? Okay. I'll probably keep to my standard, it'll just be random colors. But, you know. Actually, I don't know if I'll use this hunter as my, like, solo save or not. I probably will. And I'll make a new one for whatever I do streaming-wise. It's looking weak. Oh hey, Bingus put down a shock trap. You wanna come into the shock trap? Thanks. No trank bombs, but... I don't know how I do that. Like the circle attack. But yeah, the way that sharpening works now really makes me think quick sharpen isn't going to be a thing anymore. Either that or its effect will be different. It'll probably just lower the... It'll probably just, like, increase the amount of sharpening you do. I need to stop doing that. Ow. There's its tail. That was a way of ending it.
Don't forget, you can carve materials from seven parts.
I swear, if I don't see the same amount of hate towards Alma as was towards the handler from World, I am going to be completely convinced that the only reason people didn't like the handler from World was that they have terrible taste in women. That's it. In other words, that they thought that the handler from World was unattractive or something. Alma, where are you going? Oh man, Wyvern gems. I hope this drop rate stays. I wonder what those will be used for. Yeah, there. I've actually done a quest. I am capable of hunting. It's gonna take me some learning to figure out how that big electro bird works. But yeah, I do think I will probably end things off here. I will definitely be playing more of this game come proper release. It'll probably be a stream series. I'm going to try to get Legends Arceus finished up before then. I don't know how successful I'm going to be on that. I might just be doing both games simultaneously, where Legends Arceus will probably get like Saturdays, while Wilds gets Tuesday, Thursday. If you like my general style of content, of generally making it up as I go, cozy, just chill vibe content, I do have a YouTube channel where I upload daily too, and my uploads go live at 6 p.m. Atlantic, so that's roughly 4 hours from now. And I do a series on Animal Crossing New Horizons currently. I also upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. or noon. Atlantic time, which is about 2 hours ago for anybody trying to figure things out. Take Eastern, add an hour. That's my time zone. I stream Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Usually nowadays starting around noon. So I'm thinking of maybe moving that to around 1, just to give myself a bit of time for recording. I don't know yet. But yeah, with all that this thing's eating sand. Why are you eating sand? Yeah, that's sand. Yeah, it's sand. It's not food. No, not food. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I think that's still sand. You're gonna eat more sand, aren't you? Well, this thing eats sand. No, it's not going to. Well, while it eats sand, I'm gonna end things off here. So with all that out of the way, thank you all very much for watching. And hopefully I shall see you in the next thing I do. See ya then. Apparently some of these are hot buttons. Neat. That's gonna get annoying.